Hello, powerful. It's Coach Lisa, your generative power coach. Today, I want to talk to you about developing your emotional intelligence using the DISC assessment. The DISC assessment is something that I use with clients on a one-on-one basis, sometimes for entire teams, for entire companies, at retreats, sometimes even in family situations. I wanted to share some of the benefits of DISC. Even if you haven't taken a DISC assessment yet, you can use the principles that I'm going to share to better understand yourself and those around you. When you better understand yourself, you are elevating your emotional intelligence, and that allows you to generate more internal power. And that's why we're here, to generate more internal power. So DISC, C, I, S, and C are represented on a circle, the circumflex. All the area within the circle can identify where your stylistic preferences are. D, dominance. I, influence. S, steadiness. And C, conscientiousness. D, or some variation of D, you tend to be a dominant personality. You're very hard charging. You want to get things done, and you might come across like you're in a hurry or that you're mad at people if they don't seem to have the same sense of urgency that you do. Very productive, but they can come across as very abrupt, and sometimes people think they're not friendly, which isn't necessarily true. They're just trying to get something done. Now, I'm an I. So with I's, we like to be outgoing, to brainstorm, to be part of a team, to be social. And the downside can be that we tend to be a little bit chatty, maybe a bit much at times. People might say we're extra. But the I's tend to be extroverts, but can also be ambiverts and some introverts. When I say ambivert, you are extroverted at times, but also introverted at times. I consider myself an ambivert. I love being out in a social situation, but then I might be like, okay, I just got to sit on the couch and I just need some quiet time, some downtime. So S is steadiness. These people make sure that the team environment is fantastic. They might be the first to volunteer. They make sure everyone on the team is okay. The downside is that they can burn themselves out because they're so busy trying to please other people and help other people that they're not tending to their own needs. C is conscientious. This person wants a lot of data before making a decision. They tend to be very cautious. They might be financial analysts or accountants. They are very valuable on a team because they're going to make sure you've done your due diligence properly before making a decision. On the downside, as teams can feel like the person who's a C slows down their progress because they're going to ask a lot of questions. But that can be so valuable if you have somebody who's cautious and extra analytical before you make a decision. D, I, S, and C. You can also have combinations of these, DI or an SC, and your dot can be anywhere on the circle. So if you haven't taken DISC, think about where you might fall in that circle. If you are a D, think about people who might frustrate you and what their characteristics might be. Maybe you think they're not moving quickly enough. So maybe they're a C and that's just their nature. Understanding DISC really helped me understand people around me. I used it in a corporate environment. Everybody who came into that company did DISC as part of the orientation, had facilitated sessions, and got to understand ourselves and the people around us better. And it was super helpful. So I chose to become a certified DISC trainer and facilitator. I use it a lot, and I feel like this information can be very, very valuable. People often say after taking DISC, wow, this explains so much in my life. I wish I had known this sooner. They feel validated, understood. It helps them to connect the dots like it was a missing piece of the puzzle for them. So this is what that circle looks like. If someone is an S, they'll have a dot in this S section. Now, for the sample report, the person has their dot close to the C line towards the middle. That means that this person is moderately aligned with the S characteristics. While they care about creating a harmonious environment and being a good teammate, there are also a lot of other factors at play for that person. We all have all these styles within us. We pick and choose which characteristics to draw on, like an actor does when they play a role. The more aware of our emotional intelligence we are, the more skillfully we can adapt. Your assessment results show your go-to style, show what you most naturally do. So while I'm an I and my dot tends to be right on the lines, I also have a lot of D in me. I'm also quite analytical. So I have a lot of these C characteristics. And I also care about being a good teammate. I can also have the S characteristics. But my daily behaviors are more of an I. Often, if I'm coaching someone, I'll ask them if they have someone they'd like to do a session with, and we'll have that person do the DISC assessment. And then I'll run a comparison report and do a facilitated session with the two of them. This is a sample report. So you'll see the name Alex Bradley and Gracie Lee. And what you're seeing here is that Gracie is in the C quadrant and she's right on the line. So she probably has a lot of accuracy characteristics. She emphasizes accuracy, stability, and challenge. She challenges the status quo questions and decisions. Alex is probably an SI and emphasizes collaboration, support, enthusiasm, action, accuracy. These two look at tasks very differently. They look at the world and interact very differently. This report shows that each of them falls on certain behavioral spectrums in a different way. This page shows, are you daring or careful? Alex is more daring and Gracie is more careful. So Alex and Gracie might go, oh, this explains why we sort of clash at times. It helps really understand the interactions. Alex and Gracie might be more likely to stop and consider what's happening with their disagreements or challenges in a work environment because they know that they're not behaving in a way to piss each other off. It's just their natural behavior. It's very valuable. Now, the second report is skeptical versus accepting. Alex tends to be more accepting of things, and Gracie tends to be more skeptical. Gracie's going to ask more questions, and Alex is going to be more like, oh, yeah, that's good. Let's go with that. Also very valuable to know. If people have been working together for some time, they probably already know this at some level, but they aren't able to articulate what's been going on. This helps them to connect the dots. And this spectrum is outgoing versus private. Alex tends to be more outgoing and Gracie might tend to be more private. So I can imagine Alex showing up on a Monday and going, hey, Gracie, how was your weekend? And Gracie like not wanting to share that because Gracie is more of a private person. Does that sound familiar to you? Is that any sort of dynamic that you're used to? So that's your introduction to the DISC assessment. And I hope that is helpful for you to understand yourself better and to think about other people that you interact with. Stay powerful.
Lesson learned there, and we can apply that to what we already know